Hey, I am back with another resume review, this time for Justin, who let me know I could record this and give feedback. So let's dive right in. I like to keep these at 10 minutes, and this is 4 pages long. So, right off the bat, 4 pages is a lot of pages. I know he mentioned this is actually his Stack Overflow resume. Stack Overflow has cool web pages they generate for you. You can add your own work history, all that stuff. So it's kind of an auto-generated thing, but it's great if you can keep this limited. Try to keep this to 2 pages printed if you can, or manually edit some of the information after you export it. I don't know how that works with Stack Overflow, but just kind of a good thing to know. Similar to other resumes I've seen, name at the top. I want to see your location, and I censored out the phone number and email, but all great things to have right on the top of the resume. Don't make me guess where you live. I don't want to guess what time zone you're in. If this is a remote role, I want to know where you are. So add those right at the front. Let someone contact you and just know a little bit about, like, do you need to relocate, all that stuff. Right at the top here, we have technical skills. This is fine. Some people put like a profile or about me. Um, it's neat to see like this likes dislikes is an interesting format, but no dislikes. That's kind of concerning. If you've worked in tech for a while, you probably have some dislikes. And then seeing like a list of technologies is okay. Like it tells me a little bit about like what you maybe want to do, but I really want to see that down below with your job history, and then just work those words, taglines directly into what you're doing at the companies to give me context at scale, at what type of projects you've done with them. That's more important to me. Um, so let's see, experience, good to have right at the top. A little bit of just information about like how long you've been there. Some general, like, this is okay, this little like tag here under what you do, open source engineer, and then just a list of things, like that's okay because it does give me context of like, oh, you wrote Python at this role in open source. Or but some of the things, like if you're an open source engineer, I'm assuming you know GitHub. There's some things that you don't need to include that are just kind of like, okay, I made that assumption, but it might be redundant. And then things like we have Python here, Python, Ruby, Java. It's the same thing. Like we don't need to do it twice. It's okay to remove some of that stuff and just include it once. Looking at what you're actually doing, this is all day-to-day tasks. That's fine. I want to know some numbers. You led the development of client-facing tools that help analyze and performance uh, ad performance and selection. How big was the team? If you're leading a team or you're leading development, maybe you're in charge of a team. How big of a project is that? Is that a 6-month project? Is that a year project? Is that a 2-week project? What was the outcome of this? Did you increase by 50% overhead? Were like better? Were ads served better? I want to know some of that stuff. And you say thing that you reduced time to market for SDKs. How much did you reduce it? Was this a like a 1 day? Was this a 100 days? I have no idea. I want some data so I can see how good this outcome was of these projects you're doing. I don't want to just know what you did. I want to know your impact. I see 2018, 17, 18. Some of these are weird because they overlap. So it looks like you were a software engineer here and here at the same time because you're still at this one. I have no idea. So I'm kind of curious in some of that. Make sure you have that clearly. Ideally, time flows down. The older you get, the further down it goes down the page. But if you have some of these overlapping things or projects, like just call those out. It's something that someone might want to know. Like, are you going to work here and somewhere else? Maybe a conflict of interest. Good to know. Again, list of technologies. I see you have technologies called out in here that we don't need to repeat them up here, but you don't. I don't have any idea of like, okay, you did front end work migrating. Every company's migrating all the time. Cool, but what did that do for you? Did that make development easier? Did that make testing better? Did that make some sort of outcome? Is what I want to know. And again, this is probably because this is a Stack Overflow general page. I don't typically go beyond 3-ish jobs or 6 years, whichever one comes first. So I already see on this first page, we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs going back 5 years. I know COVID times adds some years to that, but we could probably get rid of some of these, especially if they're not relevant to what you want to do next. A lot of this stuff, again, like I don't honestly, like looking back, this is 2008. What? Oops, need to select the layer. 2008. Like you probably are a different person that long ago. So unless there's something in here that you really want to call out, like you could just remove them from Stack Overflow too to have them not included. But it's much more important that this resume be short rather than this resume be thorough. Because I'm going to scan these, and if I'm a recruiter, I'm scanning a lot of them, and I want to be able to just skim through some of this stuff and not read every single one of them. Once you get beyond 2 pages, they're skimming no matter what. Like they're not spending that much time reading every single one of these. Let's go to the 3rd page. Okay, here's some non-work stuff. Education. This is pretty good. Ruby on Rails Sudoku application. So this seems like it was an independent project or something you did on your own, but I have questions. I don't know what that is. I would love to know, like, this is some information about the app, but I want to know, like, what did you learn? Like, why did you want to call this out to me and tell me about this project? That's a little more important. Some of the other things down here, I really don't care. GPA and CSATs. Maybe it's just a personal thing. Some companies might. I don't actually care. I should erase some of this because now I hit it. BS at Pennsylvania University. Like it's cool to call that out. Thank you for including dates. I want to see that. Certifications could also go in here if you have any. Again, this might just be a Stack Overflow thing. Some of this stuff, obviously, Stack Overflow is going to promote Stack Overflow. It's cool to see that you've written, like, that's a cool stat. Why can't I click anymore? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Oh, I'm right. There it is. Now I hit it, but it's cool to see that stat of, like, how much community involvement you have. It's kind of like adding how many pushes you had to GitHub, though. Maybe it doesn't matter. It's just kind of like a vanity metric. And like some of these projects, like don't include projects here, just include a really good GitHub page, right? Put this stuff, even if it was something not under you, if you have a fork of it, you can highlight that in your GitHub profile and just put it as one of your pinned projects and just put it right at the top. Like let me go there and find this stuff. Don't make me read it through the resume. Resume is just not a great format for it. Again, this is a lot of projects right here. Like, it's cool. I see these, like, maybe you worked on them, maybe they're even not yours. But I really just want those on the GitHub projects or a profile. I don't want to see them in a resume. And I think your GitHub is at the top anyway, so I'm going to click on that as a recruiter. Okay, here's some others. I love outdoors. So attempting to stay fit. Aren't we all? So thank you, COVID. Other than coding, of course, I go outside, go for bike rides. Cool. So locate content. Personal trainers. Oh, okay. Wait, what is this? Fiance, personal trainer, but lead side project. So this is kind of neat. I don't know that, like, this is going to be really hard because this isn't going to stay up to date. This is going to be out of date in a month or two. I do want to see, like, if you have a side project or something you're using to learn, you can put that in the education section or even just put it under experience. Because some of these things, like technologies, these are still relevant, even if it's not a job that you got paid for, a side project, you can put it in there if you're learning it and you're proud of it and you want a recruiter or someone in the interview to ask you about it. Some tools here, like, I don't really care. It's not important to a job. As long as you can be productive in an environment, that's all that I really care about. So overall, I think you have a lot of good stuff starting here, but let's trim that down. Make sure some of the features in each side of, each work experience here has an outcome, not just a task. Give me some data, give me some relevant information on why that data is important. And then for those projects, tell me what you learned out of it, but don't skimp on your GitHub profile or your LinkedIn profile. Those are also super important. So thanks.